Welcome everyone. We'll move to this last topic of this lesson, that is taxonomy of angiosperms. We were discussing about Liliaceae family. We have already discussed about this vegetative characters. We have discussed this economic importance. Everything has been discussed. Now we will discuss the floral characters of this Liliaceae family. Then we will discuss, we'll see the floral diagram and we will see the floral formula. Until now, by seeing the floral characters, we were drawing the floral diagram and were writing the floral formula. Let us see this floral diagram first. This is the floral diagram. Allium cepa. Allium cepa. This is the common name is onion. Onion is the typical representative of this family. So this diagram, this floral diagram which we have drawn, which I have drawn here, is of Allium cepa. Okay. So now by seeing this floral diagram, let us write this floral characters as well as let us write the floral formula. Okay. So now let us see here, this is the floral diagram. This is the floral diagram for the family Liliaceae. Okay. So by seeing this, what information we are getting? Let us write this floral characters. Or first let us write this floral formula. Floral formula. This is the floral diagram. By seeing this floral diagram, we will write this floral formula. So first, we will always mention this is the mother axis, which is the posterior side, and this is the anterior side. And here at this anterior side, we have this bract. At this anterior side, we have bract. Bract is there now. This is the representation. So here, this flower is having bract. We will write BR. Bracteoles are there? Bracteoles are there? No, bracteoles are not present. So what we will write? EBRL. EBRL, that is ebracteolate, no bracteoles. Now coming to the symmetry of the flower. The symmetry is actinomorphic. The symmetry is actinomorphic. You just cut this flower in any division, you will get equal division. If you cut like this also, you will get two equal parts. If you cut like this also, you will get two equal parts. Okay. If you cut like this also, you will get two equal parts. We will be getting two equal parts. If you cut it in any plane, the flower will be divided into two equal parts. So here the symmetry is actinomorphic. That is, radial symmetry is seen. Radial symmetry is seen. The flower is actinomorphic. Now coming to this, how many that is are you seeing all those floral parts? Let us write about the flower. All the floral parts are there. Here we have this incomplete flower because here calyx and corolla are not separate. Calyx and corolla are not separate. So flower is perianth flower. Okay. And here if we write flower is perianth flower, and if we write about the flower, what you will write about it? Here it is incomplete flower. Bisexual. Okay, first we will deal with this. How many reproductive organs we see? Here this is the stamen and this is the gynoecium. Stamen is also there, gynoecium is also there. So here this flower is a bisexual flower. The flower is a bisexual flower. Okay. So actinomorphic flower, bisexual flower. The flower is bisexual, that is both the sexual reproductive organs are present. But when we come to this one, this is gynoecium is present, androecium is present. Okay, so we have written this one. Now coming to this whorl and this whorl. Here when we see this, petals and sepals are not separated. In the previous diagrams we have drawn this outer whorl of petals and outer whorls of sepals and inner whorl of petals. Here it is different. 3 are outer, 3 are inner, but here the petals and sepals are not separated. So they are not distinguished. The petals and sepals are not distinguished. That is why we call this flower as perianth. Instead of writing calyx and corolla, I'll be writing perianth. Because perianth, we call this type of flower as perianth flower, where petals and sepals are not differentiated. The flower where petals and sepals are not differentiated, we write it as perianth, because that flower is called as perianth flower. So perianth, so 3 outside, 3 inside. Okay, this 1, 2 and 3. 3 of them are outside, 1, 2 and 3. 3 of them are inside. So in 2 whorls, 3 in outer whorl, 3 in inner whorl. So perianth is there, 3 in outer whorl and 3 in inner whorl. Okay, so now perianth is there. After perianth we have androecium. We have androecium. So in androecium, how many stamens are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 stamens are there. So androecium consists of 6 stamens. Okay, 6 stamens, and the stamens are attached to this perianth. The stamens are attached to this perianth. So we will mark this. The stamens are attached to perianth. Okay, and now the last but not the least, the last one. So this is the gynoecium. How many carpels are there? This is 1 carpel, this is 2 carpel, and this is 3 carpels. So how many carpels are there? 3 carpels are there. 3 carpels. Okay, and syncarpus. The carpels, that is the ovary is syncarpus, fused. All the carpels are fused. So it is syncarpus, and the ovary is superior. The ovary is superior. The ovary is superior. This one will write. Ovary is at the top. The ovary is superior, and we have 3 carpels. So 3 carpels. This is 1 carpel. This is second carpel, and this is the 3rd carpel. Okay, 3 carpels, and the ovary is hypogynous ovary. That is, ovary occupies the top position. So by seeing this, we have written this gynoecium. Then stamens are 6 we have written, and the stamens are attached to this perianth. That is, stamens are attached to this perianth. We have drawn this one. Then we have perianth, that is no separate calyx and corolla is there. So that is why we have written perianth, and perianth is in 2 rows. Outer rows 3 tepals are outside, 1, 2 and 3. These 3 are outside 1, and these 3 are 1, 2, 3. These 3 are inside. So outside and inside, and all of that is 3 rows. Then we have this flower is bisexual, that is androstamens is present as well as pistil is also present. So it is bisexual flower, and it is actinomorphic. You cut it in any division, you get the flower in 2 equal halves in any plane. So the flower is actinomorphic. There are no bracteoles, so that is why ebracteolate, and bract is seen. This is the bract. Bract will always be at the anterior side. So here at the anterior side we have the bract. Now by seeing this formula and this floral diagram, let us write the floral characters. Let us write this floral characters. Floral characters. Okay, now in this floral characters, the first we will write is here calyx and corolla are not separate, so we will take as perianth. Okay, Perianth is in 2 rows, okay. In this one, this is the anterior petal, this is the anterior one, okay. Anterior tepal is odd. It is, both of them are, it is, this one is the odd one, both of them, it is this one, this tepal is overlapping these ones. So this is the odd one at the anterior side from the outer row. This is the 1, 2 and 3. This is the outer row, this 1, 2 and 3, this is the inner row. In outer row, this one anterior petal is odd. That is, it is not, that is, it is overlapping the both one. It is not overlapped. This petal is not overlapped by any other. So here anterior petal is odd in outer row. In outer row, anterior petal is odd, and in inner row, this one, 1, 2 and 3. In this inner, this is odd. It is covered. This is covered. This is overlapped by these two. This is totally in. This is totally out. This is totally out. Now this is the odd one. This is totally in. This is the odd one. Okay. In inner row, the odd one is at the posterior side, and in outer row, the odd one is at the anterior side. So anterior petal is odd in outer row, and posterior petal is odd in inner row. So how many? 2 rows are there, outer row, inner row, and each row it consists of 3. Each row consists of 3. Now coming to this one, if this is the flower. First, before perianth, we should have written bracts. Now we will write it. The flower is bracteate. The flower is bracteate. I'll write here. Before we describe this perianth, first we'll write about the flower. Okay. The flower is bracteate. It is ebracteolate. Because bracteoles are absent, the flower is actinomorphic. Then the flower is bisexual. The flower is bisexual, incomplete because petals and sepals are not together. So the flower is incomplete, but it is bisexual. It has both the reproductive organs, and here the meracity is 6. Here perianth. Here it consists of perianth. Then andrecium. We have stamens. There are 6 stamens. Stamens are there, but these stamens are epiphyllous. The stamens are there. The stamens are epiphyllous. Epiphyllous means they are attached to perianth. This is the stamen. They are attached to this perianth. The stamens are attached to perianth. So that condition is called as epiphyllous. The stamens are epiphyllous, and here gynoecium. Coming to this, gynoecium is tricarpellary. I'll not write gynoecium, just flower we are writing now. So it is tricarpellary and trilocular syncarpus. Tricarpellary, 3 carpels. Trilocular means 3 locules will be there. So here 1 locule, here another, and here another. 3 locules will be there, and syncarpus. All the carpels are fused together. All the carpels are fused together, and placentation is exile placentation. Exile placentation. Now, so this was all about the flower. In general, if we write about the flower, we will be writing about these things. Okay, but if we describe the flower in detail, the first part here will be the perianth, then perianth will be followed by androecium. This is perianth, we have already written. Perianth will be followed by here this androecium. So 6 stamens are present, and stamens are epiphyllous. Stamens are epiphyllous, that is, stamens are attached to the perianth. The stamens are epiphyllous, that means they are attached to perianth. Okay, and coming to this gynoecium. Gynoecium, here gynoecium ovary is tricarpellary, trilocular, syncarpus and axile placentation. Because here how these seeds are arranged here, they are attached to this at the center, at the axis. They are attached at the axis. So here this which placentation will see? Axile placentation. Tricarpellary, 3 carpels. Trilocular, 3 locules will be there. 1 locule, 2 locule and 3 locules, and in the center we have this seeds attached. And syncarpus, all the carpels, all 3 carpels are fused. All 3 carpels are fused. So, and here after this one, pollination. Pollination is again entomophilous. Pollination is again entomophilous, that is, pollination is taking place by insects. Some flowers are protandrous and some flowers are protogynous. Some flowers are protandrous and some flowers are protogynous. So here, in order to avoid this self-pollination, here they will, because bisexual is there, the flowers are bisexual, to avoid cross self-pollination, they exhibit this protandry and protogyny. So in protandry, androecium will mature first, gynoecium will mature later, and in protogyny, gynoecium will mature first and androecium will mature later on. So here some flowers are protandrous and some flowers are protogynous. So this was all about this. Coming to the seeds, and the seeds will see, the seeds are many. The seeds are many and the seeds are endospermic. The seeds are endospermic. We have already studied when we have studied those monocotyledonous seeds. So monocotyledonous seeds are endospermic. Endosperm is still present in monocotyledonous seeds. So many seeds are there and all the seeds are endospermic seeds. Whereas in Fabaceae the seeds were non-endospermic and they were dicotyledonous. So here the seeds are many, the seeds are endospermic and the seeds are monocotyledonous. The seeds are monocotyledonous. So by seeing this, we have written this floral formula and we have written this characters. Some characters will not be seen in this, like this monocotyledonous and all endospermic, which we have to remember, but most of the characters we can write by seeing this diagram. By seeing this diagram, we can write the floral formula as we can write most. See here, this can be written by seeing it, this can be written by seeing, this can be written by seeing here. Okay. So here now few things which you have to remember, but most of the things, most of the floral characters can be written just by seeing this floral diagram or by seeing this floral formula we can write. So with this we have completed all 3 families, that is Solanaceae, Liliaceae and Fabaceae, and with the completion of these families we have completed our 7th lesson, that is 8th lesson, that is taxonomy of angiosperms. In the next video, we will move on to the next lesson, that is the 9th lesson. Cell structure and all is there. We will move to the lessons which cell structure we will see in the next video.